How do you support this kind of system? You have to go to war when it crashes in order to maintain power, okay? So they said, we're not doing this in the United States. We're not going to be religious to a point where we won't have any usury, but our government and our state governments, gold and silver only. And our communities, we're going to have the power of issuance. And the power of issuance is the scepter of the king, okay? Our communities can't. So if you have a little gold, you have a little silver, you can start a bank. And it's up to the states to decide what you can or cannot charge for interest and how it's going to work. That's the original constitutional monetary system we're supposed to have. That's the system my mom was teaching me as a kid, gave us the rights for life and self-determination and freedom. And it was never so big that it couldn't fail, which is what we hear now. These banks are too big, can't let them fail, we have to bail them out. No, the whole idea is they stay small, they screw up, they're gone. Goodbye, you failed. And that's what you do, and you move on. And those who don't want to participate, no state, no government was supposed to be allowed to make them. There was no way they could ever get to a place where, they thought, where the government could take what you own because of a debt. That's un-American. So that's why I'm out here. All right. Moving on. The conspiracy theories. Yes, there are a lot of them. And a lot of them are nuts. They're just nuts. But some of them are very interesting because there's some truth in some of them. And I want to talk about this symbol because I wasn't aware the depth of the conspiracies behind that symbol until my book came out with that label on the front. Because my understanding of that symbol comes from I spent a lot of years at the Philosophical Research Society learning all this stuff. And that symbol comes from the Magi, the Zoroastrian priests, the guys that showed up when Jesus was born and said he is the prophet of the Messiah of prophecy. And what it means is that some of mankind has reached an enlightened place, this higher consciousness that you find on the tree. They're the messiahs, the masters, the high priests, the ones, the Buddhas, all of those who have come to that place. Who's the newest one? Eckhart Tolle. Okay, the newest, the ones who see it. The base are all the rest of us ignoramuses, the ones in the dark. And it's up to the ones in the front to guide us. And it's up to the ones in the bottom to find their way to the top. But the teaching is that what you do on top is going to be what happens at the bottom. There's a reflection. What the bottom does on top is going to reflect. There's a back and forth. That's the teaching. So that's why these Illuminatis, what they're talking about, whenever you see their symbol, they have it, it flips. All right? Are the Illuminati evil? No, I don't believe they are. I do believe they do study the workings of the light that you find in these mysteries teachings that are found in those Tree of Life teachings that take you to Messiah consciousness and leadership consciousness. Where I think the evil comes in, and our modern bank people all Illuminatis, give me a break. Our modern bank people all Jews, give me a break. Our modern bank people wise, or not, maybe not wise, but smart manipulators of games, mind games, you betcha. You betcha. The mind games and getting your confidence and keeping confidence and building a profit, of course. Of course. Is that evil? Con games can be. But where the evil, I believe, comes in, Alexander Hamilton. Was he evil? No. It was his way of thinking. Your people, sir, are nothing but a great beast. Those who have that power, believing that the ones underneath are not worthy of full understanding, of respect of property, that kind of thing, which does exist to this day in the banking industry. Okay. And now, my fun, what's upside down?
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no secret is revealed. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Okay. You find this on the internet under the speech that got JFK killed. Nah. It's not. Because if you go to JFK Library site and you read the full text of the speech, you find out he was talking about Karl Marx and communism. Okay? But what's wild about that speech is as above, so below, the flip of it, we have in many ways become that. And the scariest is when you go to Karl Marx himself and understand why he wrote it. Owners of capital will stimulate the working class to buy more and more expensive goods, houses, and technology, pushing them to take on more and more expensive debt until their debt becomes unbearable. The unpaid debt will lead to the bankruptcy of all banks, which will have to be nationalized, and the state will have to take the road, which will eventually lead to communism. 150 years ago. Okay, do we have to have communism? No. No, but we are central banking, and we're getting more and more centralized. And that, whew, sorry, this is getting naked. We are there. We are at that place, okay? It always makes me think, and I have a place in the book where I do talk a lot about the hippies and the 70s when this crisis did kind of happen once before, and we got out of it, and I'll talk about how we got out of it. But it's un-American. So the choices before us, if we stay central, is communism, fascism, or totalitarianism. Totalitarian. That's if we stay centralized bank. And it's interesting because communism would be kind of what Obama's talking about. Going national, bringing it into a national bank and investing in the people. Fascism would be more along the lines of what happened in the Weimar Germany Republic when they started inflating the money to the point where all the then voted to bail out all the banks and bail out all the corporations and dedicate the state to the corporations, not the people so much as the corporations that supply the people. So that's the difference between communism and fascism. Totalitarianism is just the dictator who just says, no, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. It's kind of a mix of both.